Hello, first-year students. We hope that your first semester of college is off to a great start so far. We are the Valiant advising team here at Manhattanville College, and most of you are assigned to one of us as advisors, unless you're a nursing student, and then Mrs. Schmidt is your advisor, but most of this information will be relevant to you as well. And as advisors, we educate and advocate for your success. We discuss your academic and personal goals. We assist in the course selection process, and we offer support and referrals to other campus resources. Today, my colleagues and I are going to walk you through some important information that you need to know to help you prepare and register for your classes next semester. So Dennis, please tell us about some of the important dates that are coming up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dennis, one of the advisors. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about some important dates as we head into the spring semester. The advisement period for the spring 22 semester is going to begin on Monday, October 25th, and it runs for 3 weeks through Friday, November 12th. It's important that you use Microsoft Bookings to schedule your appointment during this time period. You're going to get an email from your advisor with all the information about how to book an appointment, and even if you're not sure, send us an email. We're going to work with you to set a time to meet. Appointments are offered on a first-come, first-served basis, so make sure you schedule your appointment with your advisor as soon as possible and before your registration time. Wait, registration time? Well, what does that mean? So starting on Monday, November 15th through Friday, November 19th, that's when registration begins. Each student is given an individual registration time that is emailed by the registrar's office, and you'll get that ahead of November 15th. This appointment date is the earliest time you can register, but it's not rigid. It's not the only time you can register. It's just the time that you are able to start registering for classes. But the sooner that you register for classes, the more options you're going to have for course offerings and times and classes you're interested in. The longer you wait to register, the more classes are going to fill up. But there's more important information to have, and I'm going to pass it off to my colleague Beth Ann, who's going to tell you even more important information.
Hi, everyone. So first thing we want to tell you is to please plan to register for a minimum of 15 credits. If you register for and complete 15 credits every semester, that will keep you on track for graduation in a timely manner. We would like you to do this in addition to any courses that you are waitlisted for. You should be registered for 15 credits aside from your waitlisted courses. If you're not sure how to plan like which courses that you should be taking each semester, we usually recommend that you take a couple of classes that would count towards your gen ed requirements and a couple of classes that would count towards your major requirements. If you do not yet have a declared major, you should definitely be checking with your advisor about what are good classes that would help you explore these different majors, because we want you to be working towards figuring that out each semester. Students who are interested in applying to the education program are required to connect with Dr. Joanne Ferrara for advisement and also for permission to join the EDU 2000 course that you would need to take. So please be sure to do that. We also have language placement exams that are going to be available prior to registration, so that you could figure out what level you should be placed into if you would like to complete your second language requirement in the spring semester. If you have any active holds on your account, it will prevent you from registering. And unfortunately, the advising office is not able to lift those holds for you. You would have to contact the office directly that has the hold in order to resolve it. We strongly encourage that students look at their account a few weeks before registration to make sure that they don't have a financial hold that might take a week or two to resolve in order prevent registration. So we really want you to try to keep an eye on that and make sure that you don't have any active holds. When you log into student planning, you'll see on the right-hand side, notifications will populate. So that is an easy way to tell if you do have a hold. It will be listed there, and it will give you the information for who to contact in order to resolve it. Again, as Dennis mentioned before, we want you to register as close to your given registration time as possible. This will allow for the most options for classes during that registration week. So I hope that was helpful. And now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Kelly, who's going to walk you through student planning.
Thanks, Beth Ann. My name is Kelly, and I am one of the advisors here on the Valiant advising team. And I'm going to walk you through student planning, and David is going to assist me in walking through student planning as well. Some of you have worked with us over the summer in order to maybe review your schedule, adjust your schedule for the fall. So this might be familiar to some of you, this might be brand new for some of you, and we're going to walk through this step by step. So the way that you get to student planning is first through Service Hub. So we are now logged into Service Hub, and I'd like to reiterate what Beth Ann just talked about, which is any holds that will show up in your account. You would see these hold on the top right-hand side of your account. So this student doesn't have any holds right now, but if they did, it would be right there in front of them. Can't miss it. So we are now going to click Student Planning, which is where you find your current schedule, where you register for classes, and we're going to go through the class registration process. So the first thing that I would like to visit is number 1 on this screen, which is View Your Progress. This is my favorite screen, my favorite part about student planning, as it serves as a degree audit. So student planning is not just about registering, it's about keeping track of where you are with your degree. So this student is in the Radiologic Technology program. We see their GPA as they've been here for a few semesters, what they're studying, when they started. Along the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the total credits that they've earned. This is really important as well. The credits that are showing up in green, 70 credits, are the credits that the student has completed. If you go over to the number 7, this is the amount of credits that the student is currently registered for. And then the number 9 is the amount of credits that the student has planned. And we're going to go into those numbers a little bit more, but right now I'd like to focus on that 70 credit number. This is the amount of credits that the student has completed. And ultimately, most majors, most programs require you to have 120 credits to graduate. So you can see this is like a sliding scale that gradually you will accumulate 120 credits for graduation. So I'd like to scroll down a little bit further. This is where you see the requirements for your degree. We have the first year program requirements, which most of you are completing right now. If you scroll down just a little bit further, we get to the general education requirements. And then beyond that is the requirements for the major. So in this case, it would be radiological technology. But I'm going to focus on the general education requirements right now, since that's something that each of you need. This student has completed some of their gen eds already, and I'd like to focus on the math right now. So the math was completed, and what's great about this program is that once you've completed something, it collapses, it's in green, it shows it's complete. But I'd like to focus on the fine print. So for every requirement, I encourage students to read the fine print. Math is a minimum of 3 credits to complete that requirement. 3 credits is generally 1 class. If we scroll down to the final gen ed that's listed here, which is the global requirement, you could see the student has not started this at all, and that in fact 6 credits are required to complete this gen ed. So one of my favorite ways about looking up classes is by using this My Progress screen. And let's say the student wants to start to fulfill this global gen ed, they could simply click the search bar that's directly next to the requirement. So when students begin looking for classes, we really encourage them to filter the results. And the 3 things that we encourage you to filter are by the term. So if we go down to term, for these purposes, in showing you, we're going to click the 2021 fall term, and it's only because the spring classes aren't available yet, so we want to make sure that you have something to refer to. If you scroll down a little bit further, we also encourage students to filter by the academic level, so undergraduate level. Right now, you could see that's the only option, but sometimes there are programs that have graduate level courses such as business management, sports studies, so we don't want you to pick a class that's actually a graduate level class. The third thing that we encourage students to filter by is actually at the top, and opens the availability. So once registration opens, which Dennis spoke about, is Monday, November 15th, classes are going to begin to fill up. So we encourage students to look for classes that are open at that time. But we're not going to click that right now. We are going to leave that open for now. And you can leave that open as you plan your schedule. Again, it's just when registration opens and things start to fill up that we want to use that function. So I am interested in looking into the first class that's there, the Intro to Global Studies course. And you can see there might be multiple course offerings. So we're going to view the available sections of GINS 1008. You can see there are 3 sections of the class being offered. However, only one of them has seats. Section 2 has 1 seat. The others would be on a wait list basis. So I'm interested in taking that second section, Tuesday, Friday, 2:30, and I'm going to add the section to my schedule. And adding the section to the schedule is not registering, it's planning. And right now we're in the planning phase of your schedule. So I'm going to ask that we go back to the student planning main page and we go to the second option. So the way that we can do that is click academics at the top and then go directly to student planning. And this just brings us back to the home page, home base of student planning. And I'm going to ask David to click option number 2, which is plan your degree and register classes. So after you've picked a class like we did, we just picked GINS 1008, we're going to see how it fits on our schedule. So what's great is that there's a list view on the left-hand side, and there's a calendar view where you can visually see how the classes fit. So Global Studies does fit into the student's current schedule, the 2:30 time slot that we picked. You'll also see that there's 2 other classes that are planned on the schedule as well. Beth Ann had referred to Education 2000, which is on Fridays at 10 a.m. And this course is required for students that are interested in applying for the School of Education. So we encourage students to take this class in their second semester, first year, so which would be next semester. And please speak with your advisor if you wish to pursue education. The third class that's here is ENC 1002, which is College Writing 2. So for those of you that are currently in College Writing 1, you will be taking College Writing 2 in the spring semester. It is a first year requirement. It will be added to your schedule. We will talk about that further. But right now, this is what is planned on the student schedule for the following term. I'd also like to point out that we were able to view the different sections of the Global Studies class when we were in the My Progress tab. We can also look at available sections using this tab as well. So if David can scroll down on the left-hand side and click View Other Sections for Global and International Studies, Global Studies. And the calendar is going to actually populate so you could see what other times it's available. Again, those 2 sections have a wait list, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to show you 2 more ways to look up classes because everybody has their own way of doing things. And the second way that you can look up classes is by going directly to the course catalog. So let's say you have a specific subject in mind that you would like to study. The best way, in my opinion, to go about it is to go directly to that subject. So you can click Academics again on the top left-hand side and go to the course catalog. And I am going to look at economics, for example, and you could type it in the subject or you can scroll down directly to economics. And again, I would like to filter the results. And this time we can filter all 3 ways. We're going to do open sections only. We're going to do the term 2021 fall term and click undergraduate as well. And again, I just like to double check the undergraduate just in case graduate classes do show up. And if we scroll to the top, I would like to review Principles of Microeconomics, Eco 1001, and we're going to see which sections are available. So opening up few available sections for Eco 1001. And there are 3 sections. All of them are currently open. So it's up to you which one you would like to pick. Again, we can make changes once we go back to the calendar. But for these purposes, I would like to select the first section, which is Monday, Thursdays, 1 o'clock. We're going to add section to schedule, add the section. And I would then like to review a third way to look up classes, which is by going to the search bar at the top right, search for courses. So you may find that, let's say there's a friend of yours that's currently taking a class, really enjoying it, so you want to make sure that you get to that class next semester. So, for example, maybe your friend is taking American Sports History, which is HIS 2012. So you could type that right into the top there and search this way. So there we go, American Sports History. So that's a third way. Again, we're going to filter. We could filter all 3 ways again. Open sections only, by the term, and by the academic level. And this is a good example. This actually shows that there's graduate level courses here. So just important to take a look. And now that we've added a couple classes to our schedule, I'd like to go back to the plan your degree and register for classes to look at that calendar view. So we'll click academics at the top left and student planning homepage and plan your degree and register for classes. And once again, everyone has their own way of looking up classes using this function. Everyone develops their own system. Even me and the other advisors have different ways that we go about it. So this is just one example of how to navigate the system. So now that we're back to planning our schedule, we want to do a final overview, see how everything looks, make sure that there's no classes that are overlapping. And it turns out that these classes really fit very nicely together. You want to take into consideration extracurricular commitments that you have, maybe athletics, maybe a part-time job, to just make sure that it all fits nicely. So right now we have, it looks like we have 12 credits planned. And what Beth Ann had shared is that we want to make sure we have at least 15 credits planned. We want to register for 15 credits, but during this planning phase, we encourage you to actually register for more credits than that. You generally take 5 classes. We want to see you planned 7 classes, 8 classes, just in case your first choice fills up during that registration week. And once you're planned your schedule, you can contact your advisor using student planning. So if we scroll up just a little bit, and there is an advising tab, which you'll see right there, advising. And this is how you can connect with your advisor. You can write a note. Dear David, I have finished planning my spring schedule. Can you please provide any feedback? And then you can request review on the right-hand side. It will notify David. He'll receive an email stating that you've requested a review, and he'll be able to review your schedule. We also encourage you to meet with us one-on-one so we can have a more meaningful and proactive discussion about your schedule. And you can book those appointments, as my colleague Dennis shared, through Microsoft Bookings. David, if we can go back to the schedule, I just want to discuss the actual registration process. So once registration week hits, and again, registration week is November 15th, and once your registration appointment time opens, which is the time that you can begin to register, you will actually see registration buttons here on the screen. There will be a Register Now button, exactly where David is pointing the mouse. And there will also be individual registration buttons along each of the classes right there on the left-hand side. So that is the main function of student planning. There's also additional functions that I like to use, such as the timeline, which allows you to plan out even future semesters. There is a place for you to see your placement exam scores, unofficial transcript. So all these things are really important, and you can review further with your advisor. But this is a general overview of how to make the most of the advising period, the 3-week period where you plan your schedule, you meet with your advisor to get feedback, and then you're ready for registration week. And I'm going to pass it back to David now.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelly. Yes, we can't stress how important it is to just get into the system and kind of play around with it, get familiar with the system. I often say it's like playing with a new smartphone that you get. Sometimes it takes a bit of time, so it becomes kind of like muscle memory. Dennis, you're going to give us a little bit more information about preparing for the advising appointment. So make sure.
Yeah, finally, we just wanted to make sure that when you come to see us for advisement, that you're prepared and we have the most meaningful conversation possible. So when you meet with us in late October to prepare for a registration in mid-November, you want to make sure that you play around in student planning, like we all have said, that you take a look at courses. Kelly had said maybe having 7 or 8 choices just in case your first choices get filled up. And we can have a conversation about what classes are going to meet gen eds, what classes are going to meet major requirements, what classes are you interested in taking, or would they meet different requirements? We're going to have those conversations. And finally, you want to make sure you come into our meetings with any questions you may have. I think asking questions of your professors, of your advisors, of people on campus is so valuable. So when you come to meet us, I always say we might not have the answers to all the questions, but if you ask us the questions, we'll do our best to answer or point you in the right direction. So make sure during the meeting or via email, or if you see us in the hallway, whatever it might be, ask us those questions. We're here to support you. We're excited to meet with you again. We've most likely met with a lot of you before. We're either excited to meet you for the first time or to meet you again for advisement for the spring term. If you have any questions, let us know. And then finally, when we're taking a look at student planning now, the classes for the spring aren't there just yet. But when you see us October 25th, or maybe a little bit before then, the classes for the spring 22 are going to be posted. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that, thank you so much for your time today. We hope this was helpful, and we'll see you all very soon.
See you soon, everyone.
Thank you.